What is up, YouTube? I have a story for you that is just, yes, oh my God, I have some good news for people. So, Jordanians refuse to work on Israel-Jordan gas line. It's by Tamara Nasser on the Electronic Intifada. Okay, so basically, this guy named Fuad al-Du'airi, he was tricked into selling sand that would go into building a Israel-Jordan gas pipeline. And basically, when he found out that he was tricked, he picked the sand up with excavators and put it back in his truck. And he was tricked into thinking that it was for a fellow Jordanian who was doing a construction project. But, you know, when they got to the building site, they realized what the sand was really going to be used for, so they picked it up into bulldozers and put it back in the truck. And the guy, as I said earlier, the guy that owns the company, or is the head of the company, is Fuad al-Du'airi. And he said it was a mistake. It was made by mistake, and he was tricked. And he'd been called previous times by what's it called? By the pipeline company, and had rejected the requests consistently. So this company's called the Du'airi Contracting Company, and so Iyad al-Du'airi, who's another official at the company, said in a video that the Du'airi company, Du'airi Contracting Company, is refusing to work with the occupation or with anyone working with it, and they are against normalization with Israel. And it does not honor, they said that it did not honor them, the sand materials or efforts of their products to go into the pipeline of normalization. And the parliament has spoken out against the pipeline deal. Tarek Khouri said that, applauded the actions of the al-Du'airi company. Dima Tahboub commended the head of the company on Twitter. I'm summarizing, kind of reading word by word here. And earlier this week, 18 lawmakers in the Jordanian parliament either called to cancel the gas deal or wanted it presented in parliament to clarify its terms and conditions. Omar Azaz, Jordan's prime minister, did not respond to the requests of the parliament members. And then according to BDS Jordan, and now that's according to BDS. Most parliament members oppose the deal, according to BDS Jordan. And then they're uprooting trees. The king of Jordan is ordering basically contractors to uproot trees to make the pipeline. And there's a video Tamara Nasser took. You can see it on Twitter at Tamara al Nasser or Tamara I Nasser. She retweeted the Quds News Network a video of a bulldozer, the Jordanian government uprooting a 40-year-old olive tree that's obviously owned by a Jordanian farmer to make way for the Israel-Jordan gas pipeline. And and the videographer, the person that filmed this, said that Israel was imposed on Jordanians. And they have no right to do this. Even the prime minister, even the king, have no right to uproot an olive tree that's 40 years old. And so that's going on. And there are also protests in Idlib in the north going on. And engineers and contractors associations and other unions are protesting. The medical association is protesting. Dr. Ali Al-Abous, the president of the Jordan Medical Association and the head of the Council of Professional Associations, said that the sit-in was an extension of the association's refusal to normalize with the occupation. And he added that Jordan does not need stolen gas given it has alternative energies. It has a lot of renewables, including sun, solar, and wind, right? So earlier this month, media reported that work had begun to build a pipeline, which is expected to start delivering gas from Israel to Jordan in 2020. And it is supposed to be 65 kilometers long, and it stretches from Jordan's northern borders with Israel to the Mafraq government in the northeast. And NEPCO, which is Jordan's national energy company, national electricity company, has signed a $15 billion agreement to buy natural gas from Israel over a 15-year period. And the deal is set to proceed despite strong internal opposition from the public and parliament, and the gas is coming from occupied Palestinian waters, the Israeli-controlled Leviathan fields in the eastern Mediterranean, and the extraction is being led by U.S. giant Noble Energy. And the Israeli government is set to make $8.4 billion from the deal, according to campaigners. And there are other protests, that are protesting other forms of normalization. On Tuesday, activists in Amman rallied in front of the tourism ministry, and they were protesting recent initiatives to promote Israeli tourism in Jordan. And so who is this that said that? Oh, Mohammed Absi, the head of Atarak anti-normalization campaign, said all the agreements for the Zionists to enter Aqaba, Wadi Rum, and Petra are to provoke the Jordanian people and to pressure them into gradually accepting the enemy. Couldn't have summed it up more perfectly, right? Gradually accepting the enemy. And he told this to the Jordan Times. Meanwhile, the Israeli media reported earlier this month that Israel donated one of its Merkava tanks to be exhibited at Jordan's Royal Tank Museum. What? That's sickening. They have a Royal Tank Museum? There should be no museums glorifying war. Man. So the tank, one of Israel's most sophisticated military platforms, and it was manufactured domestically across the border between Israel and Jordan in recent weeks on a flatbed truck, the Jerusalem Post reported. Jordanian media, however, reported that Jordanian officials denied the story, adding that patrons are welcome to come to the museum and see for themselves. So basically, Jordan is a puppet state for the U.S. and the U.K. and Israel. The government is. Now, the people hate that. They hate the fact that the king and the prime minister are puppets of U.S. empire and British and Israeli empire. They hate that, right? In the words of Mohammed Absi, head of Atarak anti-normalization campaign, all the agreements for Zionists to enter Aqaba, Wadi Rum, Petra are to provoke the Jordanian people and to pressure them into gradually accepting the enemy. Mohammed Absi, head of Atarak anti-normalization campaign, said at the protest, according to the Jordanian Times. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Jordan to gradually embrace the enemy. Okay. Israel was, and going back to the guy whose olive trees were bulldozed by the government. His name is Razaz. No, Mohammed Razaz. No, Omar Razaz is the prime minister of Jordan. Israel was opposed on us, the videographer said. Addressing Razaz, he adds, "You have no right to do this, Prime Minister. Even the king has no right to uproot an olive tree that's 40 years old." Man, this is a recurring theme, olive trees, olive trees. Now, in our culture, in Palestinian culture, in Jordanian culture, olives are a staple food, and olive trees, they symbolize peace, but they also symbolize life for us, for our communities, for Palestinians and for Jordanians. So and you see Zionists in what rightfully belongs to Palestine, uprooting olive trees. Now you see the Jordanian government uprooting olive trees to build a Zionist gas line, right? Man, this is despicable, man, what the King of Jordan's doing. Let's see. What else? Oh, yeah, and Fuad al-Du'airi, and Iyad al-Du'airi. Here's their official statement on this is they're the people that were almost tricked into giving sand to the pipeline, and they ended up having to bulldoze the sand back into their dump trucks and bring it back to company headquarters. They said, Iyad al-Du'airi said, "We're retrieving the materials." Iyad al-Du'airi, another company official, states in the video, "We refuse to work with the occupation or with anyone working with it, and we are against any normalization." He adds, "It is not an honor for us, our sand, our materials, our efforts, or our products to go into the pipeline of normalization." So the Jordanian people have spoken out against the occupation. And the king of Jordan, the government, not the entire government, but like the royal family, they're in lockstep with the United States. They're in lockstep with the Netanyahu regime. Man, the Jordanian people, they're actually engaging in democracy. They're actually seeing through the bullcrap, unlike people in the U.S. and in England, right? The Jordanians, man, and I mean, it might be part of it might being like living right next to the apartheid state, the evil apartheid state, right? But like, I wish in America, man, I wish we did this too. We protested, and like, I wish our elected leaders weren't paid puppets of AIPAC and J Street, as we'll talk about in our next video. But hey, shout out to Jordan. Shout out to the al-Du'airi company, al-Du'airi Contracting, Iyad al-Du'airi, Fuad al-Du'airi. Shout out to who's the other guy? Tariq Khoury, right? Dina Tahboub. Shout out to Tamara Nasser for doing this article. Who else do I want to give a shout out to? And shout out to Mohammed Absi, the head of Etarak anti-normalization campaign. And shout out to the Times of Jordan for doing an okay job on this. Yeah. So that's all for now, folks. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.